The Wout Weghorst hate needs to stop, and it needs to stop right now. The 6'6" Dutch striker has come under a lot of criticism since joining Manchester United, and I think people are being far too dismissive of him. His attributes actually make him the perfect striker for Erik Ten Hag because he loves using a target man as the focal point of his attack. Just look at how much he got out of Sebastian Haller, who for all intents and purposes failed at West Ham in the Premier League. In the 21-22 season at Ajax, Haller scored 34 goals and got 9 assists in 43 games for Ten Hag. Who would have predicted that after watching him at West Ham? Absolutely nobody. So in this video, I'm going to show you why Weghorst is the perfect striker for Ten Hag. But first, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to start by looking at his link-up play in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest. Eriksen receives the ball in midfield and turns to see Weghorst in some space. As Eriksen plays the ball, he runs diagonally into space himself, and Weghorst plays the first-time ball into his path. As Eriksen plays a 1-2 with Antony, unfortunately he can't get it back into his path, so the play turns into nothing. But Weghorst gets his first-time pass there spot on, and if Antony's pass to Eriksen is good, it could have led to a shot on goal. In this clip, we see Eriksen picking up the ball in midfield and laying it off to Rashford on the left wing. Rashford sees a passing lane to Weghorst and passes it out to him in the center. As the ball's coming towards Weghorst, he already knows that Bruno's going to be in some space and he's ready to play it perfectly into his path. As he does that, this opens up a crazy amount of space for Bruno up ahead of him because the center back decides to stay tight to Weghorst. But Bruno, instead of running into that space, he decides to turn and pass it off to Antony, who gets off a shot, and if he was in good form, I'm sure he scores from an angle like this, right? And what I want you guys to understand from this clip is that getting first-time passes spot on is key for an Erik Ten Hag system because it relies on quick movement off the ball to make space by giving the opposition defense less time to react. And that's exactly what Weghorst enables here. In this clip, as we see Antony receiving the ball in midfield, he has several options in front of him. He decides to dribble forward with the ball and lay it off to Weghorst. Weghorst plays a first-time pass to Bruno in this area, who then plays an amazing first-time pass to Antony to get perfectly into his path, and this opens up crazy amounts of space for Antony, but he shoots it straight at the goalkeeper, and so we don't score. Now that could have been an amazing goal if Antony just had his finishing boots on. And again, we see perfect execution of the first-time pass from Weghorst, which creates this chance. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember CR7 executing this perfectly every time. And now we get to Weghorst pressing from the front. And this is arguably the biggest difference between someone like CR7 and Weghorst, so pay close attention. In this clip, we'll see Weghorst pressing Forest players 4 different times to the point where the goalkeeper is forced to kick it long. So it comes back to the center back, goes to the midfielder who's pressed by Weghorst again, goes back to the center back who's pressed by Weghorst again, and then finally to the goalkeeper who kicks it long. The ball gets to the center circle where Martinez wins the header and United get possession of the ball again. Without Weghorst's work off the ball, United does not win the ball back in this situation. In this clip, we see Casemiro firing the ball into attack trying to find Weghorst, but he gets his angles wrong. Weghorst recognizes this and starts pressing the Forest players. Eventually, he gets to the goalkeeper, and when the ball reaches him, he forces the goalkeeper to kick it out to the left back. As Antony presses the left back here, he has to turn around and find his own center back, and Weghorst recognizes this, so he presses that center back as well. And as a result, the ball finds its way back to the goalkeeper, who's forced to kick it long. Once again, we see Weghorst's hard work pay off as the opposition team is forced into a poor sequence of possession. In this clip, we see Victor Lindelof trying to get forward to create overload in the attacking areas. He tries to find Bruno but ends up losing the ball. And as that happens, 4 United players are basically beyond the ball now so that Forest can counter. Weghorst recognizes this and sprints to cover the space that's on the Forest left side, and he puts in a tackle that puts the ball out of play. Again, I don't remember this level of work from CR7, and I don't necessarily blame him because he's, 37, 38, achieved everything in the game. Maybe he doesn't think he needs to do that. But you can see from some of these clips why Erik Ten Hag didn't really want to play with CR7, because he wants someone like Weghorst who's willing to work hard from the front. In this clip, we see Eriksen trying to play a ball into the box, but it's a poor one, so United end up losing the ball. As Renan Lodi, the left back, turns and tries to play a ball infield to Scarpa, Weghorst smells the danger and presses Scarpa to win the ball back for United. Once again, Weghorst's hard work pays off for United. So what are our key takeaways from these examples of him pressing from the front? Ten Hag's system borrows heavily from the gegenpressing that Klopp and Pep deploy. In this system, it's crucial to win the ball back as high as possible because it takes longer for the opposition team to get back into defensive shape. And there are fewer opponents between your attackers and their goal, so it makes it easier to influence the game in a positive sense. And Weghorst is absolutely crucial to that. Now we're going to cover his goal last because this is probably the only aspect of Weghorst's game where CR7 is much better. Casemiro picks up the ball and drives towards goal. He sees Antony infield in this area here, so he decides to fizz a ball into his feet. As he does that, the ball bubbles up in the air and Antony decides to take a volley from that. As the goalkeeper parries the ball, Weghorst is the first to react out of 4 players that are closest to the ball, and he ends up putting a nice finish past the goalkeeper into the net. Now, again, we can probably expect CR7 to do the same thing, but the other aspects of the game that we've covered, the link up and the pressing, is where Weghorst shines. In closing thoughts, I'm not saying Weghorst is one of the best strikers in the world, but he's not that bad. In fact, I think he's surprisingly good for a striker that only cost us 3 million. Like we already discussed in the intro, Erik Ten Hag loves a target man up top because he can use his strength and physicality to hold the ball up and link the play with his pacey and skillful wingers. As we've seen in this video, Weghorst has every single attribute that Ten Hag is looking for. His profile is quite similar to Sebastian Haller, who absolutely balled out for Erik Ten Hag at Ajax. We may not get the same from Weghorst at United, but we can expect more good things to come till the end of the season. Let me know in the comments down below how many goals and assists you think Weghorst can get. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.